This is how happy couples deal with the most common fights. You know that couple so perfect for each other you'd swear they've never had a fight? We hate to burst that fairy tale bubble, but they've definitely battled it out before. The truth is, no matter how healthy a relationship, fighting or at least encountering conflict is pretty much a guarantee, says Franklin Porter, Ph.D., a couples therapist in New York City. Still, we have this notion that fighting equals bad, which isn't necessarily the case, says Porter. Fighting, when necessary, can be a good thing, he says. And just because a couple seems so perfect you could barf, it doesn't mean they don't have conflict, he says. Rather than avoiding the arguments, people in healthy relationships handle them in a way that keeps their bond strong. A happy couple can generally keep things from escalating too far because they've learned how to communicate, says Porter. If you're secure in your relationship and show your partner love and respect, then these fights won't get blown out of proportion, he says. Here are the most common issues that even made-for-each-other couples face and how they handle them. Issue: money. Fights around this topic tend to be pretty deeply rooted in emotions, says Porter. For example, perhaps your partner wasn't happy with your splurge on the deluxe suite during your last vacation because he has a history of financial insecurity and likes to deliberate before spending. All of a sudden your generous gesture becomes a blow-up. Handle it like a happy couple, practice empathy. Seeing the whole picture, vulnerabilities and all, and help you have a more productive conversation, says Porter. So instead of defending your upgrade and calling your partner a Scrooge, take the time to ask your partner why this upsets him so much and be receptive to what he says. Issue: sex. One of the issues I see come up most often is a mismatch in libido, says Porter. And when you feel like your needs aren't being met, it's hard to talk about, he says. That's why a lot of couples avoid touching on the issue until it becomes a major problem, which is a big mistake. When you say what's on your mind, you can get the conversation rolling and work towards a solution, says Porter. Handle it like a happy couple. Couples that deal with this issue in emergent tact don't use words like always and never, says Porter. Those words can be a roadblock to a productive conversation, he says. For example, saying, "You never want to have sex, and it's so annoying," totally shuts down the discussion and makes your partner feel defensive. Instead, say, "I feel really hurt when you turn me down for sex." That gives him a chance to respond to how he's making you feel instead of an accusation. Issue: multitasking during quality time. You probably can't remember the last time you were actually totally offline. No work email, no texting, no Pinterest surfing on your iPad. Despite the fact that we all need to take a step away from our phones, scrolling through your phone while spending time with your partner can lead to your partner feeling neglected, says Porter. Handle it like a happy couple. Chances are that the battle for a no-phone zone has been raging for a while now, and you're probably getting nowhere. If it gets to the point where you're not having any constructive dialogue, one partner needs to express a willingness to take a break from the argument and revisit, says Porter. That's because couples tend to have recurring patterns for how they disagree, he says. And happy couples recognize that pattern and shut it down when the fight is going nowhere. So instead of beating a dead horse, take a breather, set a date to discuss it later, and call a truce in the meantime.